50 years been?
I think it's just becoming 50. So it's been a wonderful adventure.
Looking back in the past 50 years in terms of the ministry, has there been a time where you felt like quitting the ministry?
There are times you feel like, suppose the thoughts will come to give up on some things. But I think my transition to ministry and indeed full-time ministry was definitive and resolute. And so it was a case for me of the bridge had been burnt. I could not return. I had to do that to ensure that I had to continue. Otherwise, there are times you feel like going back because of issues that happen around and all of that. But normally, I just felt we have to keep on doing this. We've gone too far to go back. I think that's what I wanted to say, yeah.
What has been the most, for you, the proudest moment of your life? And also, what are the things you wish you have done differently?
That's a very serious question. I suppose in retrospect, there are always things you wish you had done differently. But the truth of the matter is that if you had done them differently, perhaps the experiences may have been lost along the line. So what has made us who we are the things, decisions we made, the experiences that we had along the line, people that came across our lives. Secondly, what was the proudest moment in ministry or in life? In life, certainly when I became a dad, I think that was when I carried our first daughter, Fuluashade, who is now a very big girl, in her 20s now, finished university, and working and running our own enterprise. When I carried her, even though you had worked in the medical industry all your life, I knew what it means to deliver a baby, but to carry your own child, it was a surreal experience, very different. And that was my proudest moment, really, as a father, to be a father. And of course, subsequently, the other children came. That also made one very exciting and very excited.
Who is David Sola Oludoyi? Many people see you as a pastor, as a man of God, but there is something about you that, like I said earlier on before, you are worthy to emulate, but it's actually difficult to copy you. So who is David?
I think, so that we put this in perspective, I think all glory be to God. So let's acknowledge him as the author and finisher of our faith and the one who gives capacity and makes us who we are. Who am I? I think, number one, I'm the sixth child of 7 children, if you like. And then, I think I was fascinated along when I was young with Bible stories, and that was what made me adopt the name David. It wasn't my parents that gave that to me. So who am I? I think I'm just one that wants to enjoy life to the fullest, in the sense that whatever God allows me to be involved in, I want to draw out the best out of it. I want to make a difference. I do not like injustice. Things that I do not like indolence. I also feel that there is a lot in every human being that God has created. He hasn't wasted space or time. And so my desire in life is to push people, challenge people. Look, let's get this done. Who am I? I think I'm just a guy who likes to play. You believe it or not, but I love to play around. I love to play at home. I love to play with people that understand me, but I don't like laziness. I also do not like people saying things are impossible. I think it has always been the way God has enabled my life to go. Since I was young, I've always somehow, God has enabled us to defy the odds. And I do not like to hear things like, oh, because you are born in a certain place, you can't become something. I don't believe in that. I feel then there's no need for God to have allowed us to come to this world. If only certain people will achieve certain things in life, then there's no need to have, then God is unjust. But God is not unrighteous. So I've always felt that every human being, given the right circumstances and the right push, can become anything they want to become. And that has been the driving force of my life. That's why I always tell people, it's better not to be than to be and be useless. If you're going to be there, there'll be something. If not, then don't be involved in it.
Thank you. And my next question will be around how does a typical day looks like in the life of David Sola Oludoyi? Typical day.
All right. I think typical day will start anything from depending on 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. and all that kind of stuff. So you get up, you try to do your prayers, which has to be done. And it's not because I love to do it, let me quickly say that too, but it has to be done because of what I do. So you can't do this kind of work and not pray, otherwise you're in trouble. So you do your prayers, you try to read the Bible, then catch up with the children if they're at home, if somebody's going to school, just greetings, how you guys doing and all that. And then dress up and go to work. Now attend to meetings, respond to emails once you can, give people tasks, solve problems as much as you can, counsel with people, and then pray at 1 p.m. again. After that one, then you start go around again and all that. Typical day ends for me quite late. Sometimes, I get home a bit late, but I do not go to bed usually until around 11 or 12 standard every day. But it's fine, it's okay. So that's how it works for me. Yeah.
And also, I know it can be sometimes exciting, sometimes it could be challenging to be a pastor, a husband, a father, a mentor, to your children and to many as well. Now, how do you balance that?
I feel that in life you must be able to place everything, all you do in certain compartments to enable them work together. To be a husband, I think you have to know your job description from God. That's my way of saying it. With the children, I love to banter, just love to play with them as much as you can. So, and then what you also do to make sure you pastor church, you can't solve every problem. So you allow God to help you deal with the ones that you can deal with. And one prayer I pray a lot is, Lord, today let there be no emergency. And then the other things to balance along, the family is there, in-laws are there, my nuclear family is there, and all of that, there is always a competing demand for one's time. But wisdom also dictates that you got to plan things. So what we have increasingly done as a family is to schedule things, to be able to have fun together. Sometimes we go to restaurants, sometimes, we drive around. So just try to have some fun things together. So that's how I think we've kept the balance.
So let's pause and watch a video clip. Is that okay?
What I admire the most about him is how he balances out everything he does. Europe Region 3, church here. He's still a UK pastor, so all the duties that requires, family time, and personal things like writing books and things like that. Like he's able to balance out everything and still, go to the occasional parties and whatever. So it's just quite admiring because he balances out everything, and I think that's something I've learned from him as well, being able to balance out doing so many things.
Definitely how charming and witty he is. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you are in a debate with him, number one, get out of that situation. But number two, if you stay there, he will literally be able to change everything you're saying and literally serve back your own words to you on a platter to an extent in which you don't even agree with what you're saying from before.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say what I admire the most is also how knowledgeable he is and how current he is. Like, even though he's so busy, he still manages to keep himself, he just has so much knowledge, keep himself, what's the word, I guess, commercially aware. So he's aware of what's going on in the world, can advise literally about anything I ask. It could be from finances to buying homes to anything. Like, he's just so knowledgeable, and I really admire that.
I think I admire his tenacity, passion, and he's putting his all into anything he's involved in, especially when it's to do with the things of God, because he loves God passionately, unrepentantly.
Amazing.
Anything you wanted to add there?
No, it's okay. It's nice for people to see things about you that you don't know, but I think they tried. I think that's what I'm saying. So it's to put everything in perspective and no emergency. I don't do rushing about. I do lastminute.com, I must tell you that. But I do not just do things like, the whole thing's going to collapse now, the whole world's going to fall down. No. That's why I talk a lot about order. Yeah. Order, and let's put everything in perspective so we know what we're dealing with. So that way things work a lot better.
What do you do to relax?
I watch movies. we're having a little prayer in church a few days ago on Saturday, and I was telling them about Grudge Match. That was a very interesting movie between what's his name? This gentleman, Rambo.
Okay.
What's his name now? Robert De Niro and the other guy, Rambo. They call him. He did the Rambo movie. Sylvester Stallone. That's it.
Okay.
So now the illustration there was the fact that. So I use that movie to illustrate my preaching. So I watch movies.
Excellent. But I'm going to play you a video now and to kind of share some of the thoughts.
And I also watch
the
wrestling.
children. Yeah, hang on.
I watch wrestling, so not a problem.
I know he loved Fast and Furious, actually. Yeah, Fast and Furious.
I told you.
Yeah, you could just tell he was really into that. He's literally watched all of them. Yeah, Fast and Furious. That definitely brought up the action side of him.
Yeah, literally last year we went on, wasn't even a holiday, we just went on a weekend away in Ashford, and literally we went to the cinema and we watched Fast and Furious when it came out, and he loved Fast and Furious. You can watch it over and over again.
I think at times when he's asked why he loves such movies, he said that for him to learn the strategies of the enemy, to have to use it to fight the enemy. So it's not out of place for him, especially in the place of prayer, to be like militant and like in a warfare mode, maybe because of some of the strategies, that and lessons learned in watching those films.
The Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, rulers of darkness of this world, Ephesians chapter 6. So now if we're going to wrestle against them, you must also understand naturally how wrestling works. So I watch wrestling because I'm just amazed. Number two, for inspiration, it's strange to say that. When you watch a wrestling hall, it's packed. Every time they hold the show, it's packed full. So my head is, how do you pack stadiums up for God? What are these guys serving people that everybody's coming week in, week out, by the way, to pay their tithes and give their offering? So that fascinates me a lot. Then the Fast and Furious movie, I love it because of the way the storylines are just weaved around each other. And the fact that the guys involved, Vin Diesel, the Rocky Mavia, the Rock and all that, those guys have, Rocky Mavia, that's his name, those guys they've managed to push, the edge of adrenaline and the edge of action all the time, either coming from 56-story buildings down, driving a vehicle, just doing crazy things. So I love to see how the seemingly impossible becomes possible, because every time you watch Fast and Furious, they always disadvantage, but they turn it around. I mean, the last one, Vin Diesel went rogue, but he came back, It made sense after all, and that's like God. All things will ultimately work together for good. So you must not judge something before you see the end of it. So I'm fascinated. I'm waiting for the 9th one.
Wow. Excellent. And there's this video clip I'm going to play to you now. So I'm not going to ask you any question until you watch the video.
The moment I've shared with him that comes to mind is one day in 2014, March, he took me to a car garage, Mercedes to be precise, he just said, let's go down there and have a look. And we went to the garage in Lakeside, and there was one car that was just there, the last one, because they were doing a clear out to bring new sets of cars. And he asked me, did I like it? I said I didn't mind it. He said, I'm buying it for you. I was like shocked. What? And there and then he put down a deposit for the car, and I thought I was a dream. He said, I thought I was in a dream, and he said, oh, that is your Mother's Day gift. I'm thinking, oh wow, this is not even my birthday. What a man that just wants the best for me, for his children, and for everyone that he has a relationship with.
So what made you take such a huge step?
A huge step? Nah. It's not huge. I think the way my head works, I think the way God has wired me is that I want literally what the way Pastor Grace put it is actually the way it is. If I have my way, I want everyone to have the best possible. That's the reality. And I can be quite spontaneous. Also, I think that's something those who work with me will already know. I can be quite spontaneous. I just want joy around me. I want people to be happy. And she deserved it, that issue of car, she deserved it. I mean, I had some money on me. I felt, hey, we can make this happen. So, and she didn't plan it. She didn't know it was anything. I just thought, let's go there. Now, the way she talked about it, now that means she needs another one. So we've got to make that happen too. God will help me.
Now, looking at the future now, and what is that thing you would like to achieve in the next 50 years?
Wow.
That you'd be proud of?
Okay. Now, there are some dreams I can't share here, but there are some I must share, and it's in line with the gospel. Number one is I would love, I mean, I've talked about this over and over again. Whoever answers me would know. I would love to have a prayer altar in United Kingdom here, wherever I find myself, 24 hours prayer altar, where pastors are employed. I've said it in church many times, and people simply come from all walks of life to pray. I feel that once we can put prayer going, then we can guarantee that God will always work. This laziness, this sleepiness, like this attitude comes in, the sloppiness comes in when people stop praying. People can do every other thing, which is exciting. Nothing wrong with them, even spiritual. But without prayer, nothing just works. So that's one of the greatest desires I have in life, that we're going to have prayer altar all over Europe, every major city in Europe, starting from United Kingdom, where people come 24 hours. Anybody can walk in, you just need prayer. There are pastors there, there are prayer warriors there praying all the time. That's a major dream for me. That's a major drive for me. Number two, if you ever come near me, like Pastor Grace may have said to you, I just want us to plant churches. I want churches everywhere. And the reason is very simple. If you have churches everywhere, it will be easier for most people to discover their purpose in life and get on with it. Now, because the church of God represents the light of God in every area, the Bible says God speaks gloriously of Zion, of the city of God. Without the church of God, there's no place for people to congregate. So looking at the social media and what's happening nowadays, a lot of people are getting disenfranchised from church. It's a wrong thing. You can listen to sermons on social media and do all of that, but there's something about gathering together. So I would love churches planted everywhere. If I have my way, perhaps I would have turned everybody to a pastor, but I know that's impossible. So again, that's a dream of mine, that churches planted everywhere. And then when we look back in years to come, you want to say whoever we have come across, that have come across us in any shape or form, that each person has sort of discovered their purpose and they've gone on to live their lives. Now the danger with that sometimes is that sometimes people misunderstand you. Sometimes you train people and they leave without looking back. But I count it all joy, not a pain at all, because I feel my assignment with them is over. But I would hate for someone to come across me and their life not be positively impacted to go and do things for God. That would really be a sad one. So that's on that long-term goal. And if the Lord tarries, obviously looking forward to be a grandfather at some point. Looking forward to look after all these great children that you guys have given birth to. And then looking forward to sitting down but certainly keep going till Jesus, till the Lord tarries, till the Lord comes back. I'm looking forward to buy the car I said I was going to buy, 2-door car, a selfish car, so that no other person is carried in it. And only 2 of us will be in the car. And you know the name of the car, but I won't tell you yet.
Okay.
So looking forward to that. I think that's really what it is. That's my desire. So that's that sort of thing I'd love to have.
Now watch this clip. I'm going to tell you something now.
Everything. The quality that I'd like to take away from my dad, I can't actually even choose one because there's so many. I would, if I have to choose 1 or 2, just how he can balance his work and home life, because it's really not easy. And with his let's say career and his line of work, it can follow him home. So it's not like the typical office job where you do your work and then you go home, you sort of switch off. People are always calling him and always sort of, they need his attention. It could be 24 hours a day. So I guess the way he's able to balance that time, to separate his family time from church life to Region 3, and all the many hats he wears, how he can balance that.
He never fails to display kindness and genuine concern for the well-being of others. Always putting someone else before himself, not just family, but everyone he comes across.
What quality I would like to take away from him is probably how hardworking he is. Even when he's tired, even when he's not bothered, he's always making sure he does what he needs to do. So he could come back in the morning and a couple of hours have a different flight for a different church that he needs to minister to, but he still works hard and does everything to the best of his ability. And that's something I really like to take away, because I can be quite lazy sometimes. But yeah, he's always hardworking, always.
And these are some of the great qualities your children have just illustrated or demonstrated. Anything you wanted to add? Or?
You know, when people observe you, they see different kind of things, but you sort of feel differently. But yes, I think they're right. You know, they're right, balancing things. I think, like, you know, David said, which I've had discussions with him, that a man in life, God has created you and will give you things so that others can have from you. You're blessed so you can be able to reach out to others. And family is first. Family, extended family, nuclear family is first. Always respect people. You know, I don't like injustice, like I said. So those are the sort of things that we discuss. As a man, you respect your wife, you respect a woman. You never, you know, speak harshly to your sisters, you know, things like that. So, and then life, I'd work hard. There's no, Bible says, Proverbs 22:29, says that a man diligent in his business, not a busybody, but diligent in what God has called him to do. Will stand before kings and no ordinary men. So I feel that's also, God rewards that work. In all labor there is profit. God certainly rewards that work, you know, and balancing things. And I feel that God gives you more, you know, when you're able to handle well the little he has given you. So many people are scattered because they have not been able to handle well the little he has given them. Yeah.
And is there any message you want to pass across to your family, as a pastor, to your members of your church, and to your friends all over the globe this year?
I think number one is to say thank you to everyone, family who have stood by us since we were born, and who have been kind to me in one shape or the other. Thank you. Even those who think they were not kind, thank you also, because you added something. You taught me perhaps something. There's something I've learned from everyone. So I'm very grateful for the friends that God has brought across my way. I'm thankful for my school friends and schoolmates, you know, that we met in school, in secondary school, in university, and then my friends and colleagues in ministry that God has brought us to work together in the RCCG. I'm truly grateful to all of them. Also want to say a very big thank you to my pastor, you know, Pastor Andrew Adeleke. I always refer to him, thank God for his life. And thank you also to Anthony Eniola, who invited us initially to RCCG. I must always mention his name. Of course, we want to appreciate God for the leadership that we have served under in RCCG. You know, it's been a very exciting experience. We have been privileged a lot. I'm also thankful, obviously, to the prayers of everyone and to the church members, to Real Connections in particular. Of course, to all the churches I've had to impact in one shape or the other, I'm grateful to them. But to Real Connections in particular, I want to say a very big thank you to them. And also congratulations, because it's our jubilee. If I remember and look back in retrospect how long we have been on this journey, it's been a while. During the rundown to this event, one of the pastors was praying and said, he's been my pastor for 19 years. That's a whole lot of time. For some, perhaps 20 years. You know, it's been a long time. We have been together, and that's amazing. Not many relationships that last that long. So again, all of us, the revival we have been praying for, by the grace of God, we shall see it. So to our Connections members, congratulations to all of you. To all my children, in one shape or the other, colleagues worldwide, thank you for being part of the journey so far. And so in this occasion, I'm praying for everyone connected to me in one shape or the other. May you all receive jubilee blessings. May God restore you, refire you. May God give you rest on every side. And may God recompense and reward you in the name of Jesus. I just want to say I love the church I pastor. And I love the people that I work with. Great people. They've made life very easy for me. So when my children say I'm very hardworking, yes, but I've got a lot of wonderful people around me who make it work. I mean, Pastor Grace is a mountain of hard work, excellence personified, organization beyond human recognition. So when I cast the vision all the time, she's telling me, okay, how about this, how about that, how about that. So I really want to appreciate them. Yeah.
Excellent. And there is this debate. Even me, myself, I was a bit, how do we handle this? And the only way we can handle it is to hear it from your voice. If you can tell us.
Go ahead.
But
try your best.
I'll let you watch this clip so we know who is for and against, or perhaps you give us the right answer.
All right, try
Now,
your
watch
best.
this.
Let's try. Oh boy.
Yeah, so I would definitely say it's me. Everyone knows that. I think it's quite obvious, actually. Do you agree?
I don't think I'm his favourite, but I don't think Shade is either. I think Enoch is his favourite. I think he really, I think he likes him the most.
It's probably because he's the only boy, so they have like a connection. But when it comes to favourite child, it's definitely me.
No, it's Enoch.
Definitely me. Come on, what, the only son? Who else?
So, who's your favorite?
There's none. They all are. They all are. You know, each of them, that's an amazing question. They all came into my life, into our lives. I must always say that because my wife carried the pregnancies in different ways, you know. Fulua Shade, like I said, because she was the first child, our first experience. So, and because me and her spent a lot of time together when she was growing up, literally me and her everywhere, to school, back to school. Pastor Gates would be on call and with her. So then, you know, David came at a time when we had had a break, you know, in childbirth and wanted a child back. They wanted a child rather, and it wasn't coming forth. And then God gave us the word, so he came. So, you know, and then later on, Mary Grace came. At the time, we were even literally planning to do something, and then God gave her to us when it was a way of almost compensating us, you know, because my mother had just died and all that. So each of them they are special in their own very way. So all of them are my favorites. I don't think I have any.
When Shade, you know, David, Mary Grace, you've all heard it. You are all his favorites.
Dad, I love you. You're the best. I look up to you. I pray that I can continually make you proud. I pray that I'll be a reason that you'll just always be joyful and always be smiling. I pray that the man I marry one day will be just as blessed and just as amazing as you are. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Dad. I hope you get everything you want and all of your heart's desires are fulfilled by God. And yeah, just thank you for everything. Even if I may not always show you that I love you, I really do. So I hope you get everything you want and you just enjoy yourself for the rest of the evening.
Happy birthday, Dad. I hope this year is fruitful and I pray that you have another 50 years in you.
Happy birthday, my own husband, Mujmoy, Sidnom Rojdenia, Sevodnia, Munoga Chastia. And by the grace of God, mi budem vumeste do konca жизни. Bog zdes, Bog si vami. Happy birthday from myself, your name, from the children. We just say, we love you. Ya tibia libru.